Welcome to Lesson 4. Before we begin, a quick note about this course. These lessons are designed to be listened to in the background while you learn DxO PhotoLab and photography editing concepts at your own pace. If you prefer more visual screen-recorded tutorials, you'll find plenty of those on my channel as well. Also, DxO PhotoLab is free to use for 30 days, which gives you more than enough time to work through this entire course and see if it's a good fit for your workflow. In this lesson, we're going to look at one of the most important concepts in photography and photo editing: RAW files versus JPEG files. If you're new to photography, this can seem a little confusing at first, but once you understand the difference, you'll quickly see why most photographers prefer to shoot RAW. Let's start with the simplest explanation. A JPEG is a finished image. A RAW file is the original information captured by your camera sensor. Think of a RAW file as a digital negative. It contains much more information than a JPEG and gives you far greater flexibility when editing. When your camera creates a JPEG, it processes the image for you. It decides things like contrast, color, sharpening, and noise reduction before saving the file. The result is a smaller file that often looks great straight out of camera. A RAW file is different. Instead of creating a finished image, the camera saves as much information as possible from the sensor. The file is larger, but it gives you far more control later when editing. This is one of the reasons DxO PhotoLab is so popular. Many of its most powerful tools work best when editing RAW files. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you're photographing a landscape and accidentally underexpose the image. The JPEG may look very dark, with little detail visible in the shadows. The RAW version often contains additional information that can be recovered later during editing. The same applies to highlights. If bright areas of an image appear too bright, a RAW file will often contain information that can be brought back, whereas a JPEG may already have discarded some of that detail. This is what photographers mean when they talk about dynamic range. Dynamic range is simply the amount of detail available in the brightest and darkest parts of a photograph. RAW files generally contain much more dynamic range than JPEG files. A simple way to think about it is this. If your camera settings weren't quite perfect when you took the photograph, a RAW file often gives you much more room to correct the image afterwards. It won't perform miracles, but it can certainly save your bacon. RAW files also make it easier to adjust white balance. If an image looks too warm or too cool, a RAW file gives you much more flexibility to correct those colors without degrading image quality. Now, does that mean JPEG files are bad? Absolutely not. JPEG files are smaller, faster to share, and often look excellent straight out of camera. Many photographers shoot JPEG every day and get fantastic results. However, if you're learning photography, learning editing, or simply want the highest quality possible, RAW is usually the better option. In fact, my recommendation is to start shooting RAW as early as possible in your photography journey. Many modern cameras also allow you to shoot RAW and JPEG at the same time. This means you get a ready-to-use JPEG straight from the camera while also keeping the RAW file for editing later. It's a great option while you're learning. The main thing I want you to take away from this lesson is that a JPEG is a finished version of the image, while a RAW file contains far more information and gives you much greater editing flexibility. In the next lesson, we'll look at presets and how they can help speed up your editing workflow inside DxO PhotoLab. Don't forget to subscribe to Simon DxO for more tutorials. And if there's something you'd like me to cover in a future lesson, leave a comment below and I'll do my best to help. I'll see you in Lesson 5.